All right. Greetings. Greetings to all. We are pleased to be with you. We are pleased to have been participating in these conversations with you by listening and taking in the energies and sharing with you our energies. We offer a few moments of time. We offer some time through this channel that we might be able to share in a message or answer any questions that you may have. Since this is a newer experience for the channeler, we understand the hesitation that she has felt. And we are bringing a sense of calm. And at this time, we invite any who would like to ask a question.
I am going to break the ice, so to speak. And the question has to do with this moment and the heart of the matter, which to me is coming inward and connecting to the consciousness of our hearts. And from there, doing everything else that we're supposed to do. Can you give us some more information on that?
Thank you for this loving question. We need just a moment as we are working with the channel. We appreciate your question. We are tuning in the heart space is the center for receiving loving energies And as was said earlier this evening, everything is love. Even those things that are hard to accept. If you think of your heart space as a lens through which to view your experience, your incarnation, it is easier to see how everything is love. So as you have an experience in which you may feel some discomfort or unease, try to imagine how you can see this experience through your heart. Maybe you are working with someone that their actions may bring up uncomfortable feelings within you. Try to see them through the lens of your heart. See them through your heart. This is just one example, but we think that with what we have said, that you might be able to transfer this into many other situations and generalize this to other experiences. Have we answered your question?
Yes, you have. Does anybody want to ask a question? This is the moment for that.
I will. And thank you again for coming forth. Actually, I kind of have a double question. But I would just like, I really enjoyed the sharing of your quote on the hybrid children. I was wondering if you could provide any more information on them, that loving energy. Thank you.
This is an event we cannot wait to have occur with humanity. We are so looking forward to the interactions, further interactions between the hybrid children and many, many, many more of you. This is an event that will create a turning point, and by event, we do not mean a single moment, but this will be over a long period of time. But this time period, in the scheme of things, is like a moment, and it will be a turning point for humanity. The hybrid children are a collective of loving energy. Bringing this collective into the awareness of humanity will allow individuals to join this collective in ways that they are able to at any given time in their lives. So whether this means from feeling a new energy around them to joining in very deeply into the collective, will be up to the individual and their intentions, their heart space, their vibrational frequency. This is something that we look forward to. We are at this time making adjustments in the channeler as this new experience requires some Do you have additional questions about the hybrid children, or was there a part that was not addressed?
No, I think that was absolutely fabulous, and we appreciate, I assume, the Pleiadians and you organizing and uplifting and supporting Heidi's biology so that she can continue. And please let us know, as you will, if you need to go.
These are mainly adjustments for her thoughts of fear.
We appreciate your calming energy and influence on this. It is a major step for her, and we all love and support her efforts in bringing forth the courage to present and bring you through to us. Thank you. A lot of love and gratitude here.
We are very grateful for the loving energy in this group, and we understand her gratitude as well.
Arla?
She is okay to take probably one more question.
You're muted. Arla, you're muted.
The ancestor grandmothers that we are have an interest in this. And for the one who brings forth this information, we are holding space for you. We want you to know that our energy is there surrounding you in love, holding space for you. We are sending you very much love and blessings to you for stepping out to bring this to humanity.
We wish to thank you. Please give a moment. We're processing.
And thank you, Ancestor Grandmothers.
We are so pleased with the love you are sharing. And we acknowledge and gratefully accept your offering and send our love in return. And we can feel that the channeler is in a space of needing to end this at this time. And we foresee a longer time in the future for channeling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
Sure. Yes, sure.
Oh, thank you so much for all of your support. I could feel that.
That
We
was fabulous, Heidi. And the Pleiadians. That was wonderful.
Many of you don't know all the behind the scenes work that Ray was doing to get me to that, to encourage me
We
to.
have an idea, however, we've seen this before.
So I thank you so much. I definitely could feel the support of everyone. So I appreciate that.
That's why we're here.
We're very grateful, and most definitely we love all you are. I thought that maybe Wendy and Dave could have a few little closure words. If that is so, you can step forward.
Or a lot of closure. I mean, we have all night as long as people stay awake. And normally we have people who might show up about now, and it just gets to be interesting. You never know. Anthony might come in.
That's a possibility, but all I'm saying is giving Wendy and Dave another little opportunity, and to know everybody that we're here. You don't, you can stay with us, or if you need to go do something, you do whatever you need to do.
Yeah, no.
Can I just say one quick thing to
Yeah,
Arla?
yeah, go ahead.
So Arla, I so much appreciate what the grandmother said. And one of the words that they talked about, stepping forward, just in my head, I can't remember exactly what they said, but then I saw myself like making myself vulnerable, and that's then I panicked again. So they didn't trigger me, but my own visual on what they said did. So that's why it took me a minute. But I just wanted to say thank you for what you said.
You're welcome. They weren't going to let me not share that. And they're there. Their energy is there to help you in whatever manner you feel comfortable with, and your body will be held and cradled by their energy as that symbology of a grandmother holds that young one who is stepping out to do something that is for humanity. And they just wanted you to know that all of us grandmothers are holding you as you go through this.
Yeah, I have some processing to do, and that's, we all know that's what's coming up, and I appreciate them saying that. It's about, being able to trust and, and accept that without panicking and, and I'm in danger.
And thanks for having faith in us too, and picking this moment to share, because you had apparently you were confident you had all of the support that you needed. Yay.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you also. And as Arla was speaking, I was sort of hearing perhaps the grandmother energies saying that you demonstrated courage. And oftentimes it is the ancestor women who instill the courage in the tribe, and that you've already demonstrated that you have the courage and you have the strength, and the fears that you might be feeling also during the channeling is really just getting used to the higher vibrations. So as you get into those higher vibrations, there's a natural tendency for any fears that you may have about anything. It might not have anything at all to do with the channeling or being in public, or it just whatever the fears are, they aren't your fears. You've been taught to have those fears. And when you're in those higher vibrations, there's just a sense of fear. And you might think it's because of this or because of that, but it's just the sense of fear that you could just let go of. There's nothing you really need to work on, because you've done it. You've shown that you could do it. You've shown that you've had the courage. Now it's just if you want to do it or not. And that was sort of the message that I was getting while Arla was speaking and the grandmothers were speaking.
Thank you.
And
Thank
Beautiful,
you.
Dave. I wanted to say something for a second, and that is that, Dave, you have such a wonderful heart energy, and I admire that so much in a male counterpart.
I thank you.
Yes, he does.
And Christiana, you wanted to share?
Yes, thank you. Firstly, I've been drawing these things since my childhood, and I never thought anything of them, but I now come to realize that everything has meaning. I don't know if the people that draw symbols would read something in this.
Keep it steady there for a second.
That's funny. It's just
It's
so
like-
similar, so very similar to so much of what I draw.
Yes, no?
Sometimes I think that it's sort of, I want to say, like rewriting your DNA, activating more of your energetic DNA, those kinds of symbols and those kinds of scrolls. And a lot of times when you see people channeling or speaking light language, you might see their hands doing things like this. And I think it's sort of like energetically moving the DNA around.
Yeah, to vespeciato intia le visha no tivema rukote. I don't know. I remember when I very first started speaking light language, and all of a sudden my hands would start moving. Almost as if I literally was having a conversation with somebody else who understood what I was doing. And it's funny because when I was meditating on hanging out today, so there's so
Neat.
and there's galactic symbols in here too as well, but there's so much similarity, I think, in these the way
Yes.
many of us express ourselves.
Wow. And trust was mentioned, and I would also like to share one of my favorite symbols that I instantly resonated with. It's not from me. It's a Celtic symbol of eternal friendship and trust. And I think it is very fitting to this evening. So I hope it comes through.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's beautiful. Mm-hmm.
It's
Thank
one
you,
of my,
Christiana.
yeah, I draw it everywhere. I just totally love this.
That's awesome.
Can you show it again, please?
Yes.
Thank you, Christiana.
Beautiful.
You're welcome. I just wanted to share that because I think it's so pretty.
Thank you for that.
A combination of the triangles sort of representing the Merkaba and the infinity symbol.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
The infinity symbol that Heidi was drawing with her right hand while she was
Yeah.
channeling. Did you know that, Heidi?
I often
Oh, that's funny.
will do spirals. So sometimes my you know when you have these move sounds weird to say. You know when you just move, you don't you it's like somebody's moving you.
Mhm.
So I will often do spirals and sometimes I'll go back and reverse. I'm moving myself now, but sometimes when I'm meditating, and then other times it will just be a a spiral, or like the spiral over my heart. So those are two symbols that mean a lot. And recently in the gathering I went to, there was an elder from Peru, the Andes, from Cusco. And they said that in their buildings, you do not see many spirals or curves because those symbols are so sacred. They're too sacred to build with or to, carve into
Oh,
anything. And that that was
Oh.
really meaningful to me.
cool.
That's funny because I forgot that I had this right behind me. So I just happened to keep this behind me, and then I keep this in front of it. So kind of
So the
funny.
flower of life. And then that one looks like it reminds me of is it called the yantra?
Um,
It reminds me of it a little bit, but maybe I'm off
I
on the
remember
name.
that. What was the name of this one? Oh, that's the other one back there. That's something else.
I've
Anyway,
never seen
I just thought that
infinity
was
with the
interesting.
flower of life before. That's pretty.
And if you haven't ever seen the light code video from Arla, it's highly interesting, especially in the fact that there is no electricity or anything else out where these lights are coming from. So if you want to copy and paste that, because I know we're far too
Okay.
damn interesting for you to look at it right now.
I just want to say too that this video I took the actual video. There's a lot that went on, but it was 18 yards in front of me and started at about 2 foot off the ground. So it wasn't in the sky. It was there level with me.
Well, thank you everybody for this wonderful co-creation
And
and very high vibration evening.
It's been
And-
wonderful.
And thank you both. Yeah, we've never had anybody who experienced this energy who did not wish to do it again. We've had a couple of presenters who this is their livelihood. So, coming and gracing us with their gifts was kind of a rarity for them to do it without actually charging and having all of streaming and that kind of stuff. But, it all flows naturally like it's supposed to. And we ended up with Heidi and Patrick and Ancestor Grandmothers and Wendy and Dave. Holy shit. It was an overflow and overload of positive energy tonight. I loved every bit of it. It was worth every smile that hurt my jaw.
Well, it is our highest joy and excitement to participate and share and
And
enjoy
thank you
all
for
of your energies.
being such a wonderful host as always, especially under you know, less than stellar circumstances. So we appreciate you pushing through the pain and smiling through the pain.
Yep, and you guys are always welcome to stop by any Thursday or Sunday if you get bored or you just want to work us in. That's fine. We have two
Absolutely.
channelers every time, and we share it on the High Vibe Channeling Facebook page and YouTube channel. Sounds like I'm doing a commercial right in the middle of our thing, doesn't it?
Well, we'll be sure to be here as often as we possibly can.
Yep, and we normally stick around here. I know you guys are going to take off, but we normally stick around until everybody drops off. I mean, it's already paid for, so we might as well get our money's worth.
Well, there you go.
Thank you
Dave's,
both.
Dave's got an early
It's
meeting
great.
tomorrow, so we'll probably be turning in.
We understand. Hey, we know everybody's doing things that is they're in line with their best excitement. So when everybody makes a decision, we're like, go for it. Even if we don't like it, go for it.
Yeah, it's very interesting that the humor of the universe and the way that the synchronicities have provided me with a job
Yeah.
That I sort of always wanted, but didn't think it was possible to have this kind of job just for technical reasons. And it's in aerospace, and just sort of funny that it happened just in time for the idea of open contact and those kinds of things. And
Wonderful.
it's sort of funny.
I'm excited that all of you shared your symbols, and I hope that, well, I always know, I don't have to hope because knowing is knowing, that everyone will have received something expansive tonight through all of the interactions and gatherings and light language activations and so forth. And yes,
And everybody had their symbols available to show.
Yes, thank you for that.
You know, it all just flows naturally. Like, you know, Luis was telling me on Monday, I'm like, you know, we don't have anybody scheduled on Thursdays for this Thursday or next Thursday. He says, well, you know, you don't have to have one every week. I'm like, oh no, that's not entering my mind. Oh, well, I'm just waiting to see how it all unfolds. And then all of a sudden, Wendy says, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, Dave was in too. And I'm like, cool. I said, you know, I'll schedule myself. And then I'm like, oh, I got to yank this tooth. And I yanked the tooth. And we ended up with 5 channelers tonight. How wonderful is that? And next Thursday, he'll fill in too. It's just a wonderful bit of magic that we have going on here. And Willow was not kind enough to share, and Christiana was willing to share. I just love this space. I absolutely do. And thank you all for being part of it. And I know we keep on talking, Wendy and Dave. I know you guys got to go.
No, you're fine, and we're always delighted to be here when we can. And whether we're just joining in and just relaxing with everyone else, or we're doing whatever we do, it's always exciting. Thank you for the invitation. It's really, really lovely to meet all of you. And I know that we'll all be interacting more, I'm certain of that today. So,
and a light language good night message.
Nesoko she izama sheve semi lavishino koliana akotokia lizimata ejanobiava soko jina ila kiela jene zima sopai ina elejo akotoki elevas matiasha. I leave you in hugs and kisses and all my love. Yasokosha.
Love to you both. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Good night, guys.
What fun. Oh my gosh. And I just love this stuff that my intuition picks up all these people and sends out all these right vibes, and they agree to do stuff even if they're like, well, this is not, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is fun. Let's do this again.
You got a very busy higher self. I see that, right?
apparently, and today that rock thing still freaks me out because I must have had way more than 1,000 symbols just flash through my mind, and I was not even close to anything related to physicality. And it was like, holy shit, did I just receive a download for 1 million different computers? Or it was all of these symbols, and I never even equated them with the ge sacred geometry or any of that stuff until, and all of a sudden I got flooded with it tonight after that's what showed, and it gave me all kinds of information, and some of it I was able to bring back for a while, and long enough to get that little Facebook blurb that I wrote down about it. But that was just, and that rock will not stand up. I tried standing it up anyway, but no, when it jumped out of my hand and landed on the Narnia book, the Chronicles of Narnia, it stood up and showed me that all of that light coming through it, and I'm like, holy shit!
Do you know what the composition of the stone is?
I have no idea, but I
You know,
just
the stone people hold all the cellular memory of the earth. The water and the stone people, they were the first ones in the birthing process for the earth mother. And there are stones now that are not from here that are being brought here that carries even other memories of where that stone person came from.
now, and I do sell flowers. I mean, I have couple hundred flowers in containers sitting in my front yard, camouflaged behind taller flowers. It's hard to see from the street, but so I have people coming every other day or so. So I looked at those snapdragons, and that stone was not in there. So, but then today I figured out what I was going to do. Not that you need to know, but I was going to plant a bunch of my coreopsis because I haven't sold a whole bunch, and put some delphinium and zinnias behind it because they're taller and eradicate more of my grass into flowers. And I got ready to do that, and I looked around my yard, and I went to find a good spot, and that spot called to me, and I'm okay. And then I went to go get the plants, and the snapdragon says, "No, no, no, you over here, you gotta plant us, you gotta plant us." And I'm like, "Well, you got two yellow ones. Okay, I guess I can work two yellow." "No, no, no, grab a whole, no, go grab a whole bunch, grab a whole bunch." And I'm like, okay, so I ended up planting like a dozen, and as soon as I grabbed the container, I'm like, this is a really cool stone. And it's like, I'm like, thank you so much for gifting me this wonderful stone. I can't wait to see what the message in it is. And I said, but right now I got to take care of these snapdragons so they'll shut up and leave me alone. And so I went and I set it on my outdoor chair on my porch. And then I went back and I did all my stuff and I planted all my things. And then I went back and it agreed. It just sat there, and as soon as I picked it up, it says, "Wash me off." Sure thing, no problem. So, and then, and then it directed me after that. And I said, "I can't wait to get your message." "No, you have to sit down." Okay, sure thing. And then, you know, and so I sit down and I take the rock and I tell it that I thank everything that's related with bringing it into my existence, and I'm ready to receive the message, and I put it on my pineal gland, and I have no idea how much time elapsed. I don't. I remember my feet collapsing on the floor because I was slack. And then all of these symbols just started going through, and there were other beings that were discussing things, and I couldn't tell if they were discussing things with other beings or with me. But they told, except for the parts where they kept telling me, do not try to identify the symbols. Just allow them to flow through you. Do not hinder the interruption of the symbols by thinking on them. And it was like, I felt it was like when you're at the dentist and they're like telling you relax. And that's when I said, okay. And that's when I relaxed. And then all of a sudden, wow, it was like turbochargers kicked in and they started really slamming back. And, I got the impression that it was helping, and it was like, and then when it was done, it was like, okay, and then all of a sudden, wow, I'm like, holy shit, I was going backwards through this whole thing, like you're on some amusement park ride, where it goes, and all of a sudden you get to the end, it's like, holy shit, now I get to do it all backwards, and all of a sudden I snap back, and all of a sudden my body again, I'm like, how long? It was just amazing. And all from this stone that I was gifted. And there was much more information than what I can ever relay right now. I know if I look at my writing, though, I can help recall a little bit more. That's why I was grateful to be able to get part of it down before it all faded.
Well, and Dave said something interesting too, because he said that you receive it, but it takes time. I can't say it exactly as he did, but it will come forth over time. I think that's what he said.
It's available and you unpack it basically
Yes.
as you are able to process it or you need it. It's really in your field. Okay. So as you come up with the inquiries that can use that, it's there and you can unpack it.
And thanks, Christiana and Willow. We'll love to hear you share, especially about me. My ego loves that.
That's a confession. Oh my God. You can take that to the bank.
I excel at humble, I got to tell you.
The astrology goes like you said. You were a double, triple Aries. Is that what I heard?
No, I'm a Leo born and Leo rising.
Oh, and Leo
There is
born
not
there.
enough time in the day to give me all of the accolades which I deserve.
Oh God.
Is this the comedy routine I heard was going to be here tonight?
That's right. This is the last hour of the night. This is the Tonight Show hour now. But anyway, Willow, how are you doing? I always like to see that smile of yours. That's such a joyful thing. The energy feels everywhere and reaches me for sure. And I'm sure everybody gets contagiously with that.
Thank you.
There's no distance, right?
No, everything's
there's not. That doesn't exist. Yeah. That's a misconception that we have.
Well, Ray, your experience you shared was amazing. I haven't had time to read your Facebook post yet, but I want to check that out because it seems like you definitely had a really multi-dimensional experience. So first, thank you for that. But a couple weeks ago, before I even knew about you and your group and your little community, I found a quote that was posted, I think, in the hybrid group. I'm not sure, but it had beautiful artwork, and it was this one that says, "The higher you vibe, the more you unhide." And when I saw that, I was like, oh, that really is exactly what I need to hear right now, because I have a lot of things that I've been hiding from my whole life and just sort of shielding myself. And I've had this quote as my lock screen for a couple weeks, and I didn't even know that it was yours. And then a couple days ago, I looked at it again and realized, wait, I recognize that name. And it's just so funny that it ended up being your words that were really assisting me the past couple weeks. So yeah, I'm grateful that I'm friends with you and everyone.
Yes, Erin Elliott is a dear. She not only is one of the admins for that Bashar site, but when I make comments like that, she asks me, she says, "Hey, I am moved to create AI artwork to post with your comments. Do you mind if I do?" I said, "No, please do." I said, but if you'd be kind enough, just tag me because I don't want to miss it because a lot of times I don't remember what I say. So, if I get to see it again, then, and I'm glad, so glad you got something out of that. And I really like that one too.
Yeah, it really resonated with me. It's a simple quote, but it was very helpful. So anyway, I
Yeah.
just wanted to
Uh,
share that.
Thank you. Yeah, every once in a while I get good ones that came in. I think a couple of days ago one came in. It says, if you respond with love, love responds.
Well, that's a good one.
Yeah, I have my moments. Thanks for being part of it. Because you guys attracted it. You pulled it out of me. I tried not to, and you made me say it.
Well,
Ow.
you had
This is great.
you had a poem on the chat today, right?
Yeah.
Do you care to read that poem for us?
Oh, sure. Put me on the spot. Can my ego is feigning that it does not wish to do this.
Oh my God.
It was, and this came during the sharing that Wendy was doing. It's experiencing through you. We are the beat of every wing. We are the tremor of every footstep. We are the song of the water. We are the thoughts bringing the wind. We are the space in between heartbeats. We are the underlying love of being. We are you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Everyone here is so talented and has so many gifts. I'm
And
so grateful to just observe everyone's unique
and
qualities.
Willow, what you will come to find out if you hang out with us, not only will you soak up our vibration, but that everybody who comes here has multiple gifts, even if they aren't aware of them when they join. I
Absolutely.
did not channel when I started, coming to any of the channeling groups. I just love the energy and I love being able to ask a question of a soul level being and get an answer. And it all resonated with me, and they adjusted my biology to make me more sensitive to feeling energies and opened up my capacity to have more energies and entities access my physical reality for educational or other purposes. And it's like, oh my, it just keeps expanding and expanding and expanding. And then in
Energy.
January, they told me that my ability to um, and to allow even more energies and beings to access my physical life was installed in me so I could handle hybrid children being with me as I go through my physical days. And I did not know how that would turn out or where it would lead. And I still don't, other than, yes, there's going to be a book and the name will be given to me, although the old art link letter stuff about, hybrid children say the darndest things comes to mind, but I don't know if that will have enough frequency vibration that they will accept it. I will get that. And Chat GPT is very excited about helping me. And they said, well, yeah, we can't access the YouTube channel, but if you upload the audio, we will go ahead and transcribe the audios for you and pull out all of the best what we think are the best quotes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. Oh, I know I talked about this with Heidi whenever I asked her higher self and the Pleiadians about that. And, they said, see the excitement of sharing. That was a key for me. And I'm like, because I've said, from other stuff, including Seth, it was like, well, see how you're going to, if you're going to win the lottery, see yourself doing certain things. And they've said you don't need to see all the trappings that are associated with it. You just need to see yourself enjoying the sharing of it. And the rest of the stuff will flow around you enjoying the sharing of it, because that's the frequency that you're collecting or attracting. So it's a fabulous world. I'm so glad I incarnated now, and thank you all for being part of this journey.
Yeah. Willow, how old are you?
I'm 22. I turned
22.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, Ray, we're not going to ask how old are you. That's fine.
I think he's older than me. I think he is. Wait
Oh
a minute.
my God! Wait a minute.
May not be.
I have beard hairs older than Willow.
Well, I may not have been here long, but I have a lot of information from various incarnations.
Absolutely. Hey, no,
That's right.
make
That's
no
right.
excuses. Yes, I mean
the greatest reason why we're here assembled, not because of the way we look,
yep,
or what we think we are in a human body. It is because we're eternal. We were here in the beginning of all creation, and here we are. Some parts of us, because it's not even the entirety of it at all. But here we are. And that is how we connect to each other. And we're built from the heart. We always were built from that. We are magnetism in action, basically.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
And I had the impulse to ask you. So of course there's value in it. I mean, come on, it came out of my mouth.
Of course.
Lewis, I wanted to ask you a couple questions about like how someone can be a speaker on one of these events. I don't know who to ask, if I ask Ray or Luis about that.
But you already are a speaker in our events.
Right
I
now.
mean, if you want more time, you definitely can get more time. Okay. So for sure. Okay.
Especially, or if you just want to share, or both.
Well, there's a couple topics that I would love to share with people in more depth, because I think it'd just be really fun to do so. Mainly about the new human and how to relate to them. The new.
It's a small topic, isn't it? Huh?
Would you like to give us a little?
I'll just do a brief overview for now.
Would you like to share with us the things that you would like to share later? And we can go through that now, and then we'll all have an idea. And then we know Christiana had a question for you as well. So, and I'm doing a great job not talking a whole lot tonight too. You just don't know how much important stuff you've missed.
So, yeah, Willow, go ahead. Tell us about the new human.
Well, I just have a little overview of like, what to go into for later, but just how to, to share with people how to learn how to, sorry, I'm having trouble getting my words together. Like how to acclimate to the changing world and how to relate to what the younger generations are sharing and the different frequential levels they are operating on, and how to ask them questions and learn from the younger ones, almost like flipping the narrative, which so long it's been, oh, the elders teach the young generations, but now there's certain things that the young people can certainly teach their parents, their grandparents, the teachers themselves, So sort of how to phrase the questions, how to create an environment that's much more comfortable for children who are highly sensitive, and how to make them feel like they're truly being heard and that they're being received, and sort of learn how to speak their language, and also sort of go into the role of autism and ADHD and human evolution, and how that's a key part in the current generations and future ones, and just learning how to tune and dial your frequency as a very sensitive person to not receive such an influx of information all the time. Because I know for me, I get overloaded a lot, and my body will have to move and just get the energy out. And sometimes I just go in shutdown mode because there's so much like overstimulation going on. And I'm just dreaming and imagining what the world will be like once it's more accommodating to the highly sensitive people, and then they can really express their gifts so much more freely and comfortably. And I think that's exciting to look forward to in the future when everyone is more tuned in with the needs of everyone. So they are able to sort of cater to those specific people, and then yeah, everyone sort of finds their balance and has time to share what they need to share.
And
Beautiful listening to that. Christiana had a comment or a question.
And thanks for sharing, Willow. Really appreciate it. That and all the energy too. I'm sorry, Christiana. I have a habit of interrupting.
Thank you very much. It's funny because I put a thumbs up when Will said she wanted to share, and you thought that was a question, and I said, "Oh no, that was just a thumbs up." And then I did have a question. Quite funny. Anyway, so, Willow, I would like to ask for your advice with you being younger and having a better understanding. But I observe younger people that have incarnated now having a great challenge with reality. And there's a C5 group that has formed in Munich, and there's a lovely woman there, and she has a young boy who is very, very talented, very connected, very high vibrational. She showed me drawings that are fully professional. It's unreal. But she says this child of hers is completely consumed by like a kind of a video game with, killing, whatever. And that's the only thing he wants to do. Now, I understand what is triggering this, because, he needs distraction from this reality, because it's difficult to match. But what would your advice be to a mother that has a child like this, that is so talented, and yet all he wants to do is play this strange video game? How can she pull him out of that?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of layers to this probably, but the first one, like you said, about using it as a distraction, it's not so much a distraction as it is a sort of turning off or not turning off, but like focusing the conscious mind on something that is very stimulating and very captivating, so that other aspects of his mind, his consciousness, maybe his higher self and more subtle energetic bodies have the time to tune in to where they're needed and gather information where they need to gather it, and then bring it back to his present, well, not bring it back, but like tune it to his present reality so he can use that information when he's not involved in the game. That could be one thing. But the other thing would be the video game could be used as an organizing system for his thoughts and for his energy, because there's a lot of structure and a lot of rules, I guess, in any game. So it helps to sort of learn the rules of physical reality when you're learning it through a virtual game reality. You can sort of relate to it and see, oh, I did this in a game. Now I know the rules now. I can apply it to my physical reality game. It makes it easier to make that transition from the fluidity and freedom of spirit to the more structured, condensed form of physical reality, even though it's not really like that. It's just that's what we're taught, that it's like that. And also, even though he's creating this beautiful art, does he enjoy creating the art, or is that something that he just sort of does on a whim and doesn't really, is he passionate about it? Do you know if that's something that he's really passionate about?
I don't think he's consciously passionate about it. It's something that he can do very easily.
Okay.
So it's more of the first option at this point, I think. But I was blown away by the quality of the drawings.
Nice.
Must be some aspect of him coming through him very clearly and precisely. So it might be one of those things where as time goes on or as he gets older, he can harness that ability a bit more and really get into it and be more inspired to put his energy into the drawing rather than the games. But there's a purpose to all of it. So he's probably learning so much information from so many different sources and just trying to organize it all and figure out how to channel it into his physical reality experience. But there could be any number of other reasons too, but those are just a few highlights, I guess.
Yeah, thank you very much for the perspectives. So what the way I understand them is that she shouldn't worry too much. It's like he needs to go through this. Now it's a phase, and he will develop by himself when the time comes, right?
Well, I
guess.
feel like most, if not all of the children alive around this time, like they know exactly what they need, even if it doesn't look conventional, even if it looks unhealthy or unbalanced. And I know that's very true for me. Like there's certain things I do that, are very odd and very like, you know, people don't understand a lot of the time, but it's something that I need to do in order to feel like myself, or in order to feel aligned, or feel like I can receive information more clearly, or just feel more grounded in my body. So a lot of times I feel like the highly sensitive kids, they might have an interest or an obsession with something that, might be very heavy, or very not heavy, but like, boys who are interested in video games that have a lot of violence in them, it's almost like they need something with that much contrast and that much polar opposite of energy in order to even keep them semi-anchored to physical reality and keep their focus here. Because it's so dense and so heavy, it's almost like a weight that keeps them some part of their consciousness here. Because if they didn't have that, they would just be, very much immersed in all of these other realms that are so much more fun to be in sometimes. But there's so many reasons for all of this. I can't really pinpoint one of them.
Yeah. And Christiana, there is a thing called neurological art where you basically leave your physical senses out of it, especially if you're doing this by hand, and that sounds like what's going on there. And a lot of times in my belief or experience, I guess, it ends up being a symbol which is representative of other layers of understanding which just come through into the physical plane to ground that energy into the physical and establish a connection that other beings and other energies who are aware of that symbol can help connect with that person because they have drawn it in through their excitement, through their physical action, and they know that it has meaning. So it, like Bashar says, it could be a permission slip. But yeah, you get into those when you zone out like that, it's just fabulous that you can do that. And I encourage everybody to do that as long as they can every day, because our physical cells do not age during that time, because we are literally not participating in linear time. Like when I picked up this stone and all that stuff happened, I didn't age anything. I don't know how long the chronological clock went, but yeah, anytime that you can do that and be out of your chronological time, then please do.
So I have a question then, for Willow, because I think as you were speaking, what came to mind was there is a lot of heavy energy in this physical realm right now. And, we are, the energy, I feel like over time, maybe decades, will lighten. Like there will be a lot more lighter energy. And so I kind of feel like, and please provide insight if I'm missing anything, but I feel like that this is one way of dealing with the heavy energies that are here right now, with someone who is meant to be in a lighter energy. Did I get that right? Did I understand you? Okay.
It's all about the timing of things too, because if I could share a little bit of my personal experience, I've definitely been through a lot of challenge to get to this point. I'm finally in the stage of my life where I'm in the lighter feelings. but I actually went through how many years? Like 4 or 5 years of severe anorexia and severe depression, anxiety, and also having autism on top of all of that. So there was a lot of challenge and a lot of fear, a phobia that I've been experiencing since I was 7. So with all of these challenges, I definitely needed some time to be distracted from all of it and sort of find my comfort and find my balance through my artwork, my creative expression. But even when I wasn't, strong enough or capable enough to do that, I had to find my joy in one of my other hobbies, like doll collecting and things like that, my teddy bears, my dolls, all that stuff, because that was my symbol of comfort and safety that I could hold on to and know that sometime in the future I'll be able to express more of this energy. But for now, I have it here in this object or in this behavior or watching this show or whatever it is, even through a game for some people, because that energy that they feel when they're engaged in that activity represents a portion of their greater being because it has those good feelings in it. So, but then you get to a point where things start to get better a little bit, you learn more tools. The shadows get a little bit brighter, not quite so heavy, and a lot of inner work and self-reflection and figuring out who you really are and realizing that you're able to bring that through very clearly and precisely if you focus on it. But focus is the really big challenge sometimes, especially when you're a very sensitive person. There's like you're receiving so much information all the time and it's constant, and it can be very challenging to focus on what's you and what's not you, because if you're receiving 100 tidbits of information per second and only one of those 100 is you, you have to sift out the other 99 to find the one point of information that's actually yours. So, but once you recognize that frequency, it's easier to pick it out. You don't have to sort through all of it. But it's definitely a journey for some people. So,
Well,
yeah.
I have several comments on that. One is thank you for sharing and have the courage. The second thing is don't ever feel like you don't belong in this group. We are here to help, even the ones who aren't here now. And that same goes for you, for Christiana, because we have really created a safe platform. And when I say we, I am including the higher realms, because this entire organization has nothing at all to do with third density beings. It never has been. And um, I was curious to see when you were bringing in all of those energies from the non-physical and off-world um, beings, did that end up guiding you to create the hybrid children and maybe other non-human beings in your craft work, creating your dolls?
In my sculptures?
Yes.
Yeah.
I call them dolls. I'm sorry because you have
No,
them
you're good.
dressed up. But
Dolls are
yeah, they
great.
are sculptures indeed.
Dolls are great too. It's like it's good. Well, I've been sculpting the ET dolls since I was 15, so that was sort of amidst the challenge, I guess, the challenges I was facing. They've been with me for a long, long time. I've been interested in ETs since I was like maybe 11. That's when things started clicked on for me. But I know I've had experiences earlier in my life, but I didn't really recognize what they were until later when I could connect the dots. Um, but yeah, the ET beings and my guides and my helpers and all my friends and the hybrids, they're always sort of nudging me in the direction of my passion and in the direction of my artwork. And now I'm like fully locked in what I'm doing. So all the challenges that I was expressing a minute ago, they've pretty much all been resolved and healed at this point, which is
Yay.
really exciting
And
because
good
it's
for
only been,
you.
thank you. It's been
Yeah.
a very fast acceleration the past year because this time last year I was at a point in my life where it was like life or death, kind of. I was very sick. My body was very, very frail. And even though I was so immersed in my spiritual world, I was too immersed in it. I didn't want to commit to being in a physical body. And that was my big challenge was realizing in order to be a whole human, I have to have a human body. I have to be here grounded in physicality somehow. So past year I was rebuilding my body and eating more food and getting healthy and doing all the things that I've always wanted to do. And, everything has been synchronistically falling back into place. And now I feel like I can finally see the clear future ahead and really want to solidify and crystallize my gifts and my little sculptures and everything that I'm about into this reality instead of only doing it in spirit, because I definitely spend a lot more of my time in the non-physical realms than I do in this one. But I'm really wishing to bridge them together more and sort of make this the spirit reality instead of having to leave to go to the spirit reality.
Well said. And now, and I don't know if you've thought about this, but your experiences give you the authenticity to relate to others who have had those experiences
Yeah.
because they will sense that. Do you know, are you aware of what some of your roles are with the hybrid children coming in?
I think so. One of
Because
them,
I can give you some insight, but please tell me what you have.
well, I would love to hear what you have to say.
Well, it was given to me that you are an interpreter of sorts because you will be able to receive not you will be able to interpret the symbolism that they are providing, and you will be able to explain that to other people. So, um,
Thank you for that.
does that fit in line with what you have?
Yeah, that definitely feels right because I'm all about symbology. I'm very into dream interpretation, so I look so deeply into every little detail, every visual, every word, and I see the symbolic meaning in it. So that definitely applies with communication with the hybrids and with other ETs because they do speak in symbology and in emotion and connection and visuals, and it's very often not words. So I definitely see how that could be a role of mine. And I'm
Well,
also a poet, so I really love words and that whole energy of sharing
yes.
emotions, and yeah,
And
that's my thing.
thank you for that. And you also broadcast in at least three different layers with everything that you do. You have not only the physical aspects where your hands are conveying things which the people pick up and allow them to stay focused, which is important. Don't alter anything with that. And then we have the energetic portion, and then we get the words that come in on like we're on a souped up skidoo. They just all come riding into our consciousness and they all hit against us, our wharfs of our mind, and it just sticks and resonates. It's just a very enjoyable quality to everything about this, Willow. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
And thank you providing a perspective which we were sorely missing too, because a lot of times the old white guys fuck everything up. And so
Oh,
I know we have exceptions here, but a lot of times we tend to maybe not take all of the perspectives of all of the diversity that we have and we approve of into our conscious thought because we're just not that exposed to it. So thank you for extending our diversity and bringing such wonderful energy and questions and sharing. It is
thank you.
appreciated.
Well, I'm so happy to be here in this little community and adding whatever perspectives I can offer.
Yeah, and if you know somebody who you think might be a good fit, just bring them. You don't have to ask. Just give them the code and bring them on in because everybody who comes, we trust that they will bring the people that they want. And if they try to bring somebody who's not a good fit, then our higher realms get together and they're like, okay, how do we dissuade this one from actually showing up? And then they work it out amongst themselves, and we never have to deal with it on the third density level. It's a wonderful system. So, and if you want to try to bring somebody in like that, you're more than welcome to try. If you want to bring somebody in who's not fitting, but hey, we operate on the faith thing, and it's all wonderful and high vibrational, and that's kind of our group name. It's a coincidence that there aren't any.
I do not want to leave, but I really need to. This is my limit for setting.
Yes. Go out and scare some deer.
Yeah, I hope. Bless her heart, they'll probably come look at me in my tent when I fall asleep. So hopefully not. Or at least they'll leave my green beans alone. Blessings to you all. It's been a
Good night, Arla.
Wonderful.
And for bringing the Ancestor Grandmothers too. What a delight. Love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Blessings to you all.
Bye-bye. Good night.
I think I might have to leave soon also because I'm in a different time zone from you, and it's way past dinner time. So
yes,
when you have to leave, you have to leave. You don't have to tell us too much, except maybe a little goodbye.
Yeah. Thank you, Willow. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me and for this amazing experience. I'm looking forward to Sunday.
You're welcome.
This is a great social time for me because I definitely spend most of my time in solitude. So this is good to talk with other humans.
Yep. You will find that we supply multiple personal needs, and you may not be aware of all of them at the time. But yes, thank you. And enjoy your dinner and the rest of your day, night. We'll see you later.
Thank you. I hope you all have a good night as well. Bye.
Yeehaw.
And then there were 4.
Golly.
Four.
We got oracle cards tonight. What a potpourri of spiritual achievement it was tonight. And Heidi was I can't say it was the unexpected star, because I knew this was coming weeks ago, but I couldn't say anything because that spoils the magic. So I just had to do my part in the background and weave and coddle and draw in the right energies like Arla. Because if Arla hadn't been here and the right people might not have been here, then it might not have happened the way that it did. But, it was only a matter of time. And I think that's what the realization, which actually tipped it for you, is you're like, I'm going to do it sooner or later. And
Yeah, it just felt right at that time. It needed to not be formal. It needed to be just, how about now? Okay. No announcing Heidi will be there.
Nope.
No, nothing like that. That's too much. That's too much drama,
Well, and of course I put that in the description.
I saw it.
The Pleiadians were coming, but who knows who's bringing them?
Oh, such loving energy. It's really, that's been such a good experience to be with so many channelers and to feel everybody's, and not just not just people that are already channeling, but just everybody that comes, just to be with that energy. And
everybody's channeling. Everybody, every single person doesn't have to come out of your mouth. You are channeling.
Yes.
And as you put your focus in what is happening in the group, you are adding to the dimension of the channeler. It becomes wider, becomes more available. And we're communicating, among ourselves. You will notice that you will say something in response to a question that happens to be what somebody else was thinking about that didn't ask the question, but it happens all the time.
Yep.
That's because we're very entangled.
Yay entanglement. And And me incarnating now for a life of service and just being able to provide that, it just cheers me up.
Now, the old notion, remember the karmic notion of all of that, Ray, means that in past lives, here I'm going into the past,
I was a son of
things
a bitch.
things were not so good, Ray. But that's an old notion, okay? It really is not the way it was anyway, you know?
And I really don't care because they all happened. It's which ones we actualize. Those are the only ones that matter for right now.
Yeah.
And as I've said many times, almost my main objective in living this life is to take all of the best events from all of the other probable Ray Heitmans and weave them all into my life. And then I will be the envy of all of my other probable lives because I know they have Leo.
No, you'll be the joy of all the other probable ones that could not find a way to overcome and get there. You'll be the joy of it. That's the magic of the whole thing.
And thank
You're
you.
you're healing everything that's ever existed in that you are.
Yep, and
It's my opinion, of course.
Of course, yes, and most valuable.
See, I always think of it as as we're all traveling together. Like because I'm like, I don't want to be the one that's saying, for all be the highest good. Like, no, we're all gonna do this together. All of me's.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the way I look at it too.
Yeah.
And when I openly speak to my higher self, I'm always saying, bring the next version of me that is very relevant to this reality that I'm living now. Okay, bring it. I want it. I want to absorb that in me. It exists. It already exists, of course.
Yep. And it does help me to view my physical body and my ego as separate entities apart from myself, because then I get to recognize my ego, and sometimes I get to allow it to do things. But if I recognize it for what it is, then it doesn't get upset when it doesn't get to do everything that it would like to do. And I guess that's part of my training.
Well, it's a little bit like a child that doesn't understand what's in its best interest, and that what you're really trying to do is protect him from cracking his head. And that's why you're stopping it from doing whatever it is. It's a little bit like that, So the ego by itself, there's nothing wrong with it. And in this environment that we're in this construction that we're in this illusion that we're in, or whatever you want to call it, simulation, whatever, people have different versions of that. The ego is a component, as is that which we call 3D-ness. We if we were to throw away 3D-ness, we will also throw away elements of that which we consider to be our body and our existence. And we didn't come here not to be here. Okay, we came here because we're infusing something into this version of what all that is wanting to experience. Call it whatever you want to call it. So we're multidimensional. So we operate in all dimensions. And to operate in less than, it's like a car that has 12 cylinders that could be the fastest vehicle on the face of the planet, but it only has 2 spark plugs. And so it doesn't work very well.